So, dear respected Thầy, dear Venerable, dear brothers and sisters and dear friends, welcome to a day of mindfulness. Let us enjoy this moment together. Outside is snow beautifully, and we can just come back to our breathing, come back to our body, and we can enjoy 3 sound the bell together to treasure this moment together. Thank you. So, good morning, dear Venerable, dear friends, dear brother and sister and dear friends. So, this morning we will have an opportunity to have a question and answer. So, if you have a question in your heart related to the practice that you have difficulty in encounter in the practice, or anything that from your heart about your suffering in daily life, or anything that you encounter in your life, you can come up here, and then we will one by one we will answer, try our best to answer, share with you our own experience and practice. So if you have a question in your heart, feel free to come up here and light up, because we have about an hour and a half together. Today I see that there's many children. We are very happy to see you, and also teen. If the children and the teen would like to have a question, you can also come up to ask the monks and nuns here. Before we ask a question, we will listen to a sound of the bell, and after that the brother and sister will try to share our best to share the practice. And if you have any theoretical question, we can save it for Uncle Google. He can answer you anytime. We are happy to be here, and I'm very grateful that our brother and sister willing to be in this hot seat, and they are happy to be here and to support each other. So I would like to introduce the panel. On my far left is Brother Phap Khong, Brother Emptiness, and he's been here the longest in all of us. So he is the patriarch of Blue Cliff Monastery, and he's very generous in giving. I in my mind, it's always like a Santa Claus to me. So maybe. And next to him, Brother Phap Khoi. He's one of the eldest brother, and he been here also as long, maybe as Brother Phap Khong. And he's very kindness, and he offers a lot solidity to our brothers and sisters, and we are very grateful to have him here and always support us. And to my right is Sister Nghiem, Sister Empathy. She always empathize with all of us, and always give beautiful smile when you meet her anytime. She always give you a very beautiful smile, and it's make your day. So I'm happy to have you in here, and also myself. I'm Sister Cypress, or you can call me Sister Popcorn. The children call me Sister Popcorn. So I'm very happy to be here with you. And now, if you have a question, please come up. And if you are shy, you can write on a piece of paper, and then you can pass up to us. Or if you don't like to be in the camera, you can stand behind the camera, and then you can ask a question. Yeah. So thank you for being here. And a good question doesn't have to be long. It's just a few words. Goes direct to the question, so we can save some time. Thank you. Any of the children want to ask the first question? No? Please come.
Please come up here. So we listen to one sound of the bell first.
When we're meditating, how are we supposed to sit? When we are meditating, how are we supposed to sit?
So our young friend asked if how do we sit when we do sitting meditation. So I invite one of our brother and sister will share.
Good morning, dear Thai, dear Sangha, dear friends. It's very good that you have interest in sitting meditation. That's one of the reasons why you come here with your family, right? It's very comfortable when we do sitting meditation. We can just sit on the cushion, like we have the cushion and the mat here, if you have it at home. Or you can sit on the chair like that, right? As long as you sit beautifully, comfortably, your back upright, so that your in-breath can go deep into your body. And you can breathe out all the carbon dioxide outside of your body. So the art of sitting meditation is to come back to your body, to your mind with the act of sitting, using your breath as the anchor. So you can just focus on the in-breath and out-breath. And you can count one in-breath, one out-breath. Or you can meditate like a master. Breathing in, I see myself as a mountain. Breathing out, I feel solid. Breathing in, I see myself as space. Breathing out, I feel free. And with that kind of meditation, you feel free, you feel solid, you feel calm after the sitting meditation, and it continues to nourish your body, your mind, so that you can have more interest in sitting meditation. Okay? That's how we start. I wish you enjoy the sitting meditation, and next time, tell us how you benefit from that. Okay? Thank you. Thank you for your question.
There's also a cushion for the next person too. We listen to one sound the bell first.
Sort of following the question about sitting, I was wondering if you guys had any advice on sitting, if you have like lower back pain, which I've experienced recently, and so sometimes it was difficult to sit for a long time.
So good morning, dear community. Dear friend, thank you for your question. I'd like to offer some inputs. If one has lower back pain, make sure that you use other means in order to heal, different methods to heal. But in terms of practicing sitting meditation, you can try a couple of ways. One is to do some stretches, back stretches before your sitting session, and then another way is to adjust your posture. Perhaps the cushion is not at the right height. So you can experiment with different heights of the cushions, or you can sit on a chair. And then the other thing is you don't need to sit very long. The length of the session is not important. What's important is the quality of your sitting. And so, yeah, if you sit for, say, 15 minutes and then you're starting to feel ache, then just rest. And when you're able, then you sit again if you have time. So there's no need to set out a goal for I'm going to sit for an hour or an hour and a half, and then you just be in pain after 20 minutes. So it's a matter of preparing before you sit with stretches, and then find the right cushion or the height of the chair. And then the other thing is you can sit as long as you feel comfortable, and then you can rest and then come back. I don't know if any sisters or brothers have any inputs or add-ons. Thank you.
Yeah, please sit down. We listen to one sound, the bell first.
So my question is, how does one benefit from meditation or mindfulness if there's been trauma or PTSD? So hurt from others, how do you deal with? Oh, do you want me to say it again? Yes, so how does mindfulness or meditation help with working through trauma or PTSD? If somebody's hurt you and you want to have an energy of love versus anger or resentment. Of course, therapy helps, but in addition to that.
Dear Thầy, dear community, thank you for the question. I think it comes down to how do we sit meditation, what the benefit, and why do we sit meditation. I think there was some previous answer already, but I want to add something. There are many reasons why we sit meditation, and depend on the time and the day when we choose what purpose we want to sit. I think first of all, we sit so we can stay stable and calm in our body and our mind. So let's say you have a busy day, you have a hectic day, maybe you have some emotional issue. I think sometimes sit meditation help to release the tension, release the stress, and calm down. And it doesn't happen right away. It just you have to make into the habit. So it become natural. At first, there's some part of us that resist. We are like a body in motion. We don't want to stop. We want to do something. And as I shared before, the mind also always in motion, thinking. So even though we can sit very stable, our mind run around a lot, and we store emotional thing, and it come up up in our mind where we're sitting. So we release the stress, release the tension in the body, and also we see what's happening to our mental formation, our emotional state. And we learn how to calm and soothe those emotions to help out. One of the things also beneficial is sometimes when we sit ourselves in our room or something, it helps a little bit. But sometimes doing things by yourself maybe not enough. Sometimes you need compassion, the loving kindness of the next person. So sometimes sitting in group help a lot because it helps to exchange energy of support. And it helps us to see clearer what is on our mind. Often our mind is very clouded because by the emotion, by the quickness of all the events and how it have an impact on us. So sometimes you need to recollect, to stay in a calm place, to start to see clearly. We might go through an event, we might go through a trauma, we will go something, and often it happens so quick, and many of the emotions store on the subconscious level. So while we are sitting, after a while, a lot of those issues come up to surface, and help having some friend, having some practitioner, co-practitioner, help a lot to give support. Because often many people come to Blue Cliff Monastery for the very first time, and in the first morning sitting, often everything is calm, everything is peaceful, everything is beautiful, and yet there are a lot of emotion that come up to surface. So sometimes we need to water the good seed of joy and happiness, stability first, before we start to address the more difficult emotions, because sometimes it can be overwhelming if you don't have a support. And sometimes it's good to, if it persists, you can ask to talk to some of the monks and nuns as a private consultation to share those emotion things. So it helps in a healing process. And I think to develop a certain habit energy of posing to stay stable and calm like a surface of the lake. So when we have to face something difficult, we are clearly in our mind, we can see much better. So that's some of the benefit of sitting meditation, and maybe the brother sister have something more to add. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to add a little more. And one of the practices that our teacher often shared with us is about staying in the present moment. Because many times when we had traumas or PTSDs, and we sort of reliving the past, or when something triggers us, and then we relive that experience. And so in addition to what Khong shared about the different practices of nourishing your joy, another practice is to bring the mind back to the present moment often, and remind ourselves that we are now in the present moment. We're no longer in that situation. And so staying grounded, staying present is the key to help us to get out of that state of mind. And the practices that we do here, they aim towards that, is being grounded in the present moment. And so not only while you do sitting meditation, you follow your breathing, and you recognize your body sitting there, but you can bring that energy of mindfulness into your daily activities, like walking, or eating, or even having a conversation. We have the sound of the clock and the sound of the bell. Those are the reminders to bring us back to the present. And so when we're at home or in our own environment, we can look for ways or things to help remind us to come back to the present. So that the more present we are, then we're able to stay grounded and use that as a foundation in order to address our traumas or our difficulties. And like you said, it's not replacement for therapy. If we have therapies and other means of dealing with those situations, continue to do so, and meditation can help and support. Thank you.
So we'll listen to one sound, the bell first.
So 2 questions. So my first question is about looking deeply. So I'm wondering, how is it possible to look deeply while staying in the present moment? So trying to understand the root causes of our emotions. To me, that means thinking. You have to think about it, but then you're not in the present moment if you're thinking. So how does that work? Okay. Second question is how do we stop repetitive judgmental thoughts?
So I just repeat the question. Question number 1 is, how do you practice looking deeply, and why stay in the present moment? And the second thing is, how do you deal with repetitive criticism of everything?
So, dear respected Thầy, dear Venerable, dear friends, so everybody answered already, so it's my chance. So, thank you for your beautiful question about how to look deeply into the past or some situation. For me, when I learned how to practice with this mindfulness and meditation, there's 2 parts. One is first to stop. So we have many ways that we can help ourselves to come back to the present moment, to really stop the criticism thought in ourselves also, because normally in our daily life we have our 6 senses, so we in contact, we listen, we hear, so it's naturally that we have something already inside, and then it just appear in our mind, and we kind of judge because it's not right with our way of brought up, or our way of thinking. So it's natural. But in meditation, we try to first to stop stop all that by coming back to our breathing. When we do sitting or we walking, we come back to this present moment, and also we get in touch with our body, because sometimes we are always in our head, but we don't remember that we have this body, or we have the heart is beating, the hand is moving, we just appear. So that's why we train. At first, when I come to the monastery, we train first to listen to the bell, that to help us to stop. And that moment, we just come back to our breathing. So I learned that in our brain is in our brain, if there's one thing is active, the other will be silent. So the bell also help, and also walking meditation is also one way of stopping. We just come back to our body and cut in touch with the earth, the Mother Earth, and that way we can train ourselves in that way. Until then, when we are calm, it just naturally it's come up, like during the meditation. Sometimes it just come up, and we can see where the reason. When we are clear and calm, we can see also the reason why that situation is coming up, because of when we are clear and calm, we can see, that day maybe my sister is not, my friend or my sister is not well. That's why she says such a things, because of the other reasons, and we can see that around there is many reasons around it. That's why it's happened in that situation. So when we have more space and time, we can accept, and we can water, we can calm ourselves, and we can look deeply into the situation. But if we cannot stop and keep thinking on our mind, there's no way. Even you reason this, reason that, and then you continue to complain or continue not to see clearly what is. So for me, I think first thing we can train ourselves first to stop. If we can stop and be in the present moment, you can see clearly, and that I experienced in my practice many times. At that moment, I have so much emotion, and I just keep complaining. It just happened last week. There's a situation coming up, and it's full in my head. So I just keep like why? I just keep why, like person says such a thing like that. But I when I have a day or two into like stopping, just walking meditation, get in touch with the nature and more space. In doing sitting meditation, I also send love to that person, and slowly there's a love, deep love in myself and also that person, because that person also have many things on her head too. That's why she says such a thing. So I don't need to look deeply, but it's just natural way. When stopping, it's already the looking deeply already there. And I see many other reasons why it's happened. So that one of the thing that I will share. And in our head, I think there's many talking in our head all the time. And it's the same two questions where I think it's the same. One question about stopping is very important in our daily life. So I just share briefly like that, and I hope my brother and sister can add more. Thank you.
So we listen to one sound of the bell first.
First of all, I want to say thank you guys for hosting this. I know you guys sacrifice a lot of your time and devotion to this for us to have this spot here to meditate and guide us, which is that's a lot of sacrifice for. But thank you very much. My question is, so what our busy life and schoolwork and work in general, what is the best time for meditation, and what's the best time and how many times should you do it in a day or week if we could have some time for it?
So dear Thầy, dear friend, thank you for a very good question. I think it's very relevant to when we are in society. We have to work, we have to take care of everything. I think I recall being a lay friend before. I used to work in banking. I think a little bit after waking up, I think if we are not in a rush right away, I think it's good to drink some tea or coffee and use that time to be sitting meditation. It's always there. And if you even can afford, you can use 5 or 10 minutes in silence and close the eyes and just scan the body and follow our breathing. The same thing before sleeping, that's something good too. In between, I think we have coffee breaks at work or something. I find myself, I need to take a full lunch and stay away from the work environment. Because work is never stopped. And if you stay in a working environment, it's very difficult to relax and very difficult to have a mindful lunch. So sometimes I go to a cafeteria somewhere and I say to my colleagues, I'm turning off the phone, I'm go to lunch and I'll be back in an hour. I think one time I sit in the cafeteria of the bank and I was eating mindfully and relaxing, and there was one colleague walking by and saw me. And they say, I'm glad I see you. There was a vice president from GE. You wonder where his $7 million are. And that cut my appetite because I feel like I have to take care of it. I have to call the vice president and comfort him about whatever, he's missing money or something. So the next day I decide that instead of eating the company cafeteria, I go to the competitor bank cafeteria on the other side of the street when nobody knows me. So it's important to cut off the source of stress from work, when you are, and sometimes it depends. Some people has families, so you need to work through lunch and then leave early. But sometimes I found that if I work through lunch and I leave early, I come home early, but I'm so stressful and so tired. So sometimes it's good to take break. And we used to have a cigarette break, right? I don't know, like some employee are allowed to go out and smoke some cigarette. So even though we don't smoke, we can just use that break as a cigarette break, but without cigarette. And those are the time for sitting meditation too. Also, when I eat the meal too, usually I take an hour, and I eat just about 20 minutes, maybe half an hour the most. And then I use the other half hour to do sitting meditation, or sometimes I call it digestion meditation, because after you eat the meal, you feel so good, you have some tea or something, and you contemplate on your digestion of the food. So there are always opportunity to take a break here and there. If you drive, for example, you can sit in the parking lot after you park the car for a few minutes before you walk to the working place. The same thing if you do on Zoom. Also, you can take a break, bathroom, Zoom, and then you can just stay offline for about a few minutes, just sitting meditation. So having a pause, having a break a few times here and there, I think is very helpful. And during that time, you use it for sitting meditation. Did brother want to add something?
Hello. So that's for working men, right? But in this world, we have females too. So during that question, I thought about how female also have really busy life, but they also have childs to take care of too. So it's like for those who have kids, and for men who single dad out there, if like what would be the best time to, if you guys could help us with that.
I think men and women have to share equally in raising children. So, but that's the system.
So dear Thầy, dear Sangha, I ran from a child into a woman now. I will share my part from the female perspective. How can we practice in our busy life? I think that I'm very lucky to be in the monastery practicing with the brothers and the sisters here, and we don't have children to take care of, but we do have a Sangha and our spiritual family to take care of. So our life here is also as busy as you are out there. Yeah, we have so many things to do, but we can integrate the practice in our daily life with the practice of coming back to ourselves, using our breath as the anchor to be in the present moment, to integrate our breath and our awareness in every action that we are doing here. The walking meditation, the working meditation, and even the listening to the bell is also an act that we can integrate the practice into our daily life. What is the best time for our female to do meditation? I think I'm a very simple person, so I would like to ask, what is the best time to eat? What is the best time to sleep? For me, meditation is as simple as eating, as sleeping. We take it in as something that we can do it on the daily basis. We know when is the best time. Ask your heart, what is the best time to love somebody? Who's the best person to love? And it's the same when you ask the question, what's the best time to do meditation? Because meditation is from your heart. You know what is the best time for you. In the morning, after lunch, in the evening, you know the benefit out of that, and you will figure out your best time to do that. I had a friend who is very busy. She works 2 jobs, and she works throughout the weekend in order to support her family. And even she's married and gets support from her partner, but she's still a very busy woman. And I asked her how the practice can help you nourish your life when you have a busy life like that. And she said that I listened to Thay's Dharma talk, and I really interested in the practice of walking meditation from my car to my office table. It's just a short walk, but she just walked. she just apply the practice of walking meditation. When she get out of the car, go slowly and not thinking of anything, even not thinking of arriving at her desk. She just do that. And she has cultivated enough energy in order to start her working day. It's just a short time, but if you commit your time to do that, it will become your best time to do meditation. So if you find interest in the practice of walking meditation or just in the practice of eating meditation, give yourself 15 minutes instead of 5 minutes for lunch or for dinner. Or it's just an act of, okay, I make a commitment to enjoy my meal with myself, to have an intimate relationship with my meal, but not with my phone. Then it's also your nourishing time to do meditation. And I think the more you do it, the more peaceful and happy that you can enjoy out of the art of practice. And you will find more time to do that later on. So I think it's not just the female, but also it's all of our friends in our busy life. We all need some time in order to come back and to take care of ourselves, our body, our mind first, by making a commitment to give ourselves 5, 10, 15 minutes a day, and then you can increase the time to 30 minutes. And if sometimes that you're running out of battery, running out of energy, come here. We are here to support each other. We're here to refresh ourselves, recharge our energy. Thank you for your questions and thank you for your listening.
So, dear Sangha, we have 2 written questions. If no one in the audience coming up, there's 2 questions from Zoom. Yeah. So, hello, friend from live. Sorry, I didn't know where. So, how do we cultivate equanimity when storms arise? And the second question is, how shall we start the new year with mindfully? Yeah. So we invite any brother and sister who have insight on this.
So dear Thầy, dear friends, thank you for your question. I think I take the second question because how do you start the new year mindfully? To me, I treat every day as a new year. So every day is a new year, and every day I wake up, I just practice mindfulness, concentration, insight. It's the same for my birthday or continuation day. Every day is my birthday, my continuation day. So it's not like a big deal, but I think to me, sometimes we make believe. So sometimes once a year we say, oh, okay, let's review what we have done this year, and are we happy with our situation? You can make a list, pros and cons, or things like that, and see, well, maybe I need to improve a little bit on a certain area. Maybe I need to forgive myself for not being good in a certain area. And I think to me, sometimes doing together help. than doing by yourself. I think the question is, often we have the harshest critiques of ourselves. So sitting by ourselves, I think we beat ourselves a lot. I should have lose some more weight. I should have, all kind of thing. Why do I make some mistake all the time? And, I think to me, having friendship, having support, help a lot in the healing process. And I think to have somebody to share what is our heart, what deep in our thought, help to release the suffering, help to release a lot, and help with the healing process. So I think at the end of the year, we will have a resolution too. You can reflect on what have been doing, and then you write some of the resolution, and usually we burn in the fire, so we don't remember too much, because I think often we set very high standard on resolution, and we cannot accomplish, and then we feel bad that we could not do. So for me, I think it's just a normal, like every day for me. I think maybe some other people see something different. Yeah. Thank you.
So dear community, I'd like to address the first question. I think it's about how to cultivate equanimity when storm comes. Let us not wait until the storm comes and then we practice. So we have to start now if we haven't already. Just as with anything, before we're good at it, we have to learn. We have to practice. If you want to be good at playing piano, before you can do a recital, you have to practice. Before you learn how to play or compete in a ping pong match, you need to learn how to play ping pong. Before you can drive a race car, for example, you need to learn to get a permit and to learn how to drive. So don't just jump into a race car and drive. And similarly, we have to practice mindfulness meditation now to prepare for the coming storm or storms. There will always be storms. There's always suffering in our lives, and so don't wait until we suffer and then we practice. So if we have the opportunity to encounter the teachings and the practice in Buddhism or in any of our root traditions, get to the essence of them. The essence is all about coming back and to be in touch with ourselves and be peaceful. We can be like a tree. If a tree has established its roots deep down into the soil, into the earth, and when a storm comes, it can survive. Our teacher often tells us of an image of a tree in a storm. If the roots are deep into the earth, the top might sway in the storm, but the trunk stays solid and the tree will survive. But if the roots are not deep enough, the tree will be toppled over. And so our daily practice, by ways of walking meditation, sitting meditation, eating mindfully, following the breath, all of these are ways to establish our roots into our spiritual soil. And if we're able to do that, then we will know when the storm comes, we can touch the base, touch the foundation, so that we can weather the storm. And let not just be a tree standing by itself. Let's be a tree in a forest. When we practice together with others, our roots intertwine, so we're helping each other to anchor down. If you see when there's a storm and if there's one tree just standing by itself, it has to struggle a lot. Even though with deep roots, it might or might not survive. But if it stands with other trees, it gets less damaged. It had much less chance of being uprooted, being toppled over. And the same with us. Don't practice alone. Find others to practice with. Find like-minded people to practice with. And one last thing is this: we don't have to struggle alone. Seek help. If we already have a group to practice with, like a sangha, continue to be with that sangha, not only to support ourselves, but also to offer supports to others. But if we happen to be alone, make sure we have a network of friends or family members that we can reach out to when in need. Yeah, we don't have to suffer alone. Okay, thank you.
So this will be last question, so enjoy.
So we listen to one sound of bell first.
Dear community, dear teachers, my question is a theoretical one. I know one shouldn't ask theoretical questions, but this theoretical question has a very practical application. According to Thich Nhat Hanh, there are two worlds, two realms. It's the ultimate dimension and the historic dimension. In the ultimate dimension, we don't come, we don't go. We have already arrived, we are here, we are happy. There's no coming, there is no going. But in the historic dimension, we have to come. In fact, we came here, and now it is snowing, and we have to go. So my question would be, in that ultimate dimension, we don't go, we don't have to go. We are already here, we have arrived, hooray. But when we dive down in the historic dimension, when we drive down and it's sliding and we crash into a car, well, maybe I can say, here, it's all impermanent. I can, what I'm saying is, what good does it do to me, this ultimate dimension? And Thich Nhat Hanh also even says, in physics we have the relativity and we have the quantum theory, and those two don't really match. I mean, at least as of now, we don't know how to combine them. So in a way, I'm almost tempted to go back to my Judeo-Christian roots. I fall down on my knees and I say, oh God, please tell me what to do about the snow. Shall I stay? Shall I go? What shall I do? But when I, even with Buddhism or even with Advaita Vedanta, which I also have studied, and where they say, oh, this is all a dream, and you have to get out of the dream. But what does that help me in a daily life, in a daily decision, like the one that I have to face right now, or in an hour or so, or in a couple of hours? particularly if the snow is gonna fall still. That's my question.
Dear Thai, this community, thank you very much for a good question. I think to me, sometimes as simple as they say, to me, the historical dimension and the ultimate dimension intertwine. They are more or less the same, but because of our limited perception, we only see the historical dimension. And if we expand our deep looking and understanding and insight, and we see that already the ultimate dimension. For example, like take you a very best example, H2O, water molecule. It manifests in different way. Now it manifests as snow, and maybe in the summer it manifests as rain, and it could manifest as a lake, it could manifest as a big river, it could manifest as a human being. Actually, we are 70% water, and it could manifest as a cloud. And the most interesting question is to say that the cloud never dies. So often we tend to get caught in the forms of the shape of whatever the object we love, object we are facing, and we get stuck in that form. We don't see beyond that. For example, we see a table, and its heart is solid, but actually it's made of molecule. So there is emptiness, there is energy field all around it. It's not very solid, but our perception see that way. So how do you deal with the regular situation in his dimension? Of course, we react the normal, like I mentioned in the New Year celebration. Even though for me every day is a New Year, I'm still make believe that December 31st, or January 1st, we practice socially as a New Year celebration. We have an end of a year celebration, receiving New Year. So we make just like the thing that we need to do to behave peacefully and happily in a society. I think to me, sometimes you just need to stay in the historical dimension, like crossing over the street, and then there's a car coming. You cannot afford to think philosophically about quantum physics when the truck is coming hit you, But sometimes at the other time you can look into something deeply. When your loved one pass away, for example, if we don't look deeply and prepare ourselves, we can suffer a lot. And I see a lot of families suffer because their loved one pass away. And if you prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, then the passing away of the loved one is not as hard as one think. I talk to a lot of people who help hospice and accompany the people dying. And from what they share, it's not such a hard event. For them, it's very normal because you get used to, and it could be peaceful passing away. Not right now. We prepare for one of our nuns who are very sick, so I don't know how long, but I think we have to prepare ourselves emotionally and also psychological and philosophically too. So I think it helped with your thing. So yeah, sometimes if we need to dissect it, there is two separate dimensions. but actually it's the same dimension. It's just our perception limited. Thank you. I think maybe our time limited, so maybe it will be the last question.
So thanks again, brother and sisters and our friends being here the whole hours and have so many wonderful question and answer, and also the answer. And our teacher always remind us to enjoy the present moment. The historical dimension is beautiful if we are present and we have enough clarity and peacefulness and calmness. We will enjoy also the the ultimate dimension in it, like our brothers share. And I also would like to thank all of you are being here for this weekend, and you choose to be here for the Thanksgiving long weekend. And it's been supporting the brother and sister a lot in helping clear up the path and all. I see that we're working at the like a family, and it's very touched my heart. And thank you for choosing to be here with us. And I'm grateful in that spirit. Like the other question also mentioned, even men or women, we all have 24 hours. So if we can stop and see that the other person, sometimes they burn out or they have difficulty in taking care of the children, the man also can help the woman so that in that spirit we can go in harmony and we can go longer way. And in that spirit we have energy to go to move forward in life. And I'm grateful for our friend who come here to support us. So let us enjoy 3 sound of the bell. And after this, we will have the Dharma sharing. If you still have question or something is not clear that we don't have enough time to share with you, we can also share in the Dharma sharing. And please feel free to open your heart to share in the Dharma sharing our question. Thank you.